Hi guys, this is Andy Morgan from Total Therapy Birmingham here on a rather dark evening, but I wanted to get this video down before I turned in for the night. Here to talk to you today about coping mechanisms. This came about because I started to design tattoos. Now, bear with me on this. I got a tattoo when I was 18. Very, very basic, very, very simple. Just an outline of an eagle. And spur of the moment, rebellion, coming of age, whatever you want to call it. And I got it on my shoulder. And I've liked tattoos my whole life. I like the design of them personally. And I recently got it finished off when I was 36. So another 18 years later, I finally got it finished off. I finally got it filled in. And the story behind it was actually, I liked my tattoo, but I didn't love it. But I didn't know what to do with it. I kept having all these ideas and all these concepts and all these patterns. But it was only when I got to 36 that I was in a stage in my life, and I'd gone through a lot of healing, I'd gone through a lot of self-improvement, that I felt the picture was ready to be filled. The design was ready to be filled, it was ready to be finished. Kind of like a milestone in my life. And so the tattoo is very symbolic. The original image was always very symbolic. It was an eagle, which I always took as a symbol of freedom. I always craved freedom. I always felt I lacked it. I found later on that the shamanic meaning of it is, for the eagle, is sight and perspective, a higher point of view. And again, I always like that, and perspective is what I try to give. That's what these videos are about. These videos are about showing a different perspective to you guys. I try not to tell what to do, although it comes out. My passion comes out of just do this. But it tends to be more about, have you thought about, or what about, have you considered? So, tattoos have always been a part of my life as far as an interest goes, but I've never gone nuts with them. Now, tattoos came into a very interesting whole area of awareness with the Chinese medicine, looking at the meridian systems, looking at the acupoints and the trigger points around the body. And realizing that tattoos are a method of, call it, long-term acupuncture. By having the ink, by having the needle stimulate an area, by having the ink in the area, effectively irritating or tonifying the area over a period of time until the body heals, you're doing long-term acupuncture on your system. And there's a few people just going to go, well, no, I just like tattoos. Okay, I challenge you with this one. A girl I worked with, she struggled with a fair few things, but I ran diagnostics with her, and most things that came up were courage. She lacked courage. She lacked the will to really make changes in her life. Now, for those who study Chinese medicine, courage is the emotion related to the gallbladder. Now, this friend of mine had a series of about half a dozen tattoos. Every single one was on a gallbladder point. Every single one, if you trace the gallbladder meridian down the body, every single one of her tattoos lay on a gallbladder point, and only a gallbladder point. That's not just it was stuck somewhere, it was not right next to it. She had one on her foot. She went away at the weekend, said, I have to get a tattoo on my foot in this exact spot. And it was a heart as well. And I looked it up, and I looked at the actual, it was exactly on a gallbladder point. Another one is another good friend of mine. has a fair few tattoos. He has sleeves, so he has lots of tattoos, but they're all individual designs. And hopefully he won't mind me showing, but he has one in particular. He has a heart right here, a little green heart. Now, there was no plans of this. He just wanted a heart here. For anyone who knows Chinese medicine, the heart meridian runs up the inside of the arm and up to here. There's a cluster of 4 points, heart 4, 5, 6 and 7 right here. So he literally had a heart on a cluster of the heart meridian points. For a bit more fun, the colour of that, as I mentioned, was green, which for anyone who does chakra work, the colour of the heart is green. So he had a green heart on his heart meridian. So talk about wearing your heart on your sleeve. And talking about this area, you'll get a lot of people with tattoos on here. And they will be very, very meaningful tattoos. They'll be very, very important tattoos to them. Often if you ask them, they'll be loved ones or names or some symbol that's significant to someone who was either very dear to them or who they lost. This area, heart, pericardium and lung. So 3 organs, very close to your centre, very close to your, well, your heart, your love. You want to challenge to freak people out if they have a tattoo here or some on their wrist. Ask them if they have a piercing on the top here. If they have the tattoo on the left, they may have or have considered a piercing on the right, and vice versa. This is a pain relief point, which brings me on to coping mechanisms of briefly ending tattoos as coping mechanisms. So is my hypothesis, and when you read the designs of tattoos, the pictures of the tattoos, the colours of tattoos, and where they are, and if you start to read those as a diagnostic, you can actually read people. Also, as a side, I've noticed that people with a lot of tattoos, especially the really bright and colourful and vibrant ones, tends to be those that are a little more quiet. From my personal experience, I've found that it's the people who aren't necessarily very verbally self-expressive. They're very shy. They're retiring. They'll have the tattoos as a form of self-expression. They can't express themselves verbally or physically, so they express themselves on their skin. They wear their heart on their sleeve. And if you take the time with these people, and you take the time for yourself, if you have this, look at yourself. Look at your tattoos. And if you have an animal, look at the symbolic meaning of that. If you have it on a particular place, look up the Chinese meridian point of that area. See if they coincide. I bet they do. On the majority of them, I bet they do. So tattoos and tattooing can be a form of coping mechanism. This is what's come back to me. So I know that I'm getting emotional when I start planning tattoos, and where I start planning tattoos. So this latest one was going to be down here. So right along the energy centers, right along the energy and the heat release points. I'm going to go on to self-harming later in another video, but I would re-term it self-healing. Very short because I've introduced it. This area is key within Chinese medicine. If we want to release heat, this area is a key area for releasing heat. Using either gua sha or acupuncture, we would treat this area to take heat out of the entire body. Now, self-harmers will rub this area until it is raw, until it bleeds, until it goes red. And when people ask them why, they say, well, it feels better, but I don't know why. The problem is it's termed self-harming. There's the association with the veins here, which is, in my mind, a load of crap, because it's not going to happen with nails. What they're actually doing is Chinese medicine. Actually, that's giving too much credence to Chinese medicine. They are self-healing. The body knows that this area is a key place to get rid of heat. So by rubbing this area, gets rid of heat, reduces heat from the brain, heat from the mind, allows the mind to calm, allows the body to cool down, allows the heart to slow, allows the emotions to settle, and they feel better. They're self-treating. In the next video I'll go on to some ideas to consider and the ones I want to spread about how to use this knowledge to help people treat themselves, and also to get rid of the stigma of self-harming. It's not self-harming, it's self-healing. It's just lack of education, lack of alternative knowledge has created a stigma against it, which has driven it to a place where it really shouldn't be. Anyway, for next video. Piercings. So we mentioned this point here is a pain relief point. There are multiple points around the ears. This one particular is a pain relief point. So if you have a tattoo here, a piercing here, it's likely you're trying to get rid of pain, or you've had it to reduce pain, and you've had that piercing, and you've felt better in your life. You may not notice it, you may not have associated it with it, but roughly from the time you had this piercing, you felt better in your life. But the feeling wears off, doesn't it? Same with tattoos. So you get another tattoo, you get another piercing. How many people do you know have a piercing here and they've gone all the way down, trying to chase that pain relief point? The other ones in here, at the end, and various ones on the inside and up here. These are all pain relief points. So if you know some of the tattoos, or if you have tattoos or piercings, take a look. Have a look and honestly answer yourself, did I get those? Did you get those for pain relief? Emotional pain relief, physical pain relief, as a coping mechanism, stress relief. There's all sorts of pain you can go through life. So yeah, something to consider, a little bit of perspective to consider on tattoos and piercings. Then you go into the more common ones, smoking, drinking, sex, things that make you feel good. They give you a short-term buzz, and either a long-term habit, or it's short-term, it goes away, it comes back again. Never quite enough, and it doesn't fix the problem, because you're not fixing the problem. None of these fix the problem. They're a short-term solution. They're a coping mechanism. And then on to the more acceptable ones. Hobbies, the gym, going for a run, listening to music, buying crystals. All lovely, lovely things, and they're healthy, they go to the gym 5 times a week. Yes, but if you talk to them, they'll use phrases like, I have to go to the gym. I have to go to the gym tonight, otherwise I go nuts. Now that's not healthy. If you said to someone, I have to eat 5 burgers, otherwise I'm going to go nuts, they go, doesn't sound right. But because it's the gym, it's fine, it's acceptable, we're healthy. But if they have to go to the gym, they are burning off, they have to go to that gym, they have to do their exercise, they have to burn off their energy in order to take off the lid, to burn off the excess emotion that's coming in, otherwise they explode. That's a coping mechanism. Probably upset a lot of people with that one by just going, you don't know me. No, I don't, but I've met a lot of people like you. And I've had my own. I've had my own habits. I've given up smoking. I quit drinking. I worked on controlling my sex drive. I quit gambling. I've quit a lot of things because they were doing me no good. They were out of balance. They were for the wrong reasons. The only thing I haven't quit yet is me. And it's not going to happen. So, yeah, that's it. Why do you do these things? Why do we do these things? Why? If the answer is because I need it, then there's an issue. If someone says, could you stop? And you go, yes, but then you can't. You've got to talk about addictions. Yes, there's the chemical imbalances, there's the chemical reaction of sugar, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, all of those, yes, they create a chemical imbalance. But there's an emotional imbalance there as well. And they make you feel good. The endorphins kick in, they ease the tension, they take you away, they take the pressure off, they take your mind away. But that's a coping mechanism. That's avoidance of the problem. When you start to address the problem, suddenly you don't need to go to the gym. anymore. You don't need to do these things anymore. You can choose. Tattoos for me are now a choice, which is why I haven't got any more. But I like designing them. And that works for me. Make it a choice, not an addiction, not a habit, not a compulsion, not an avoidance. And see where that takes you. I've been Andy Morgan from Total Therapy Birmingham. If you like, hit like, please hit subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.